Alright, let's get this thing started. Hey guys, SuperGadgetGuy here. I'm about to change the format of my show a little differently. Instead of doing just unboxing video, which I haven't done in a very long time, I decided to do a live streaming. Hopefully will be a weekly event where I will be video, which I haven't talking about weekly technology news, anything technology science related, and unbox things I've received in the mail, and review just stuff. And you guys welcome in joining me. Actually, it'd be good to first time doing this. I'm using the XSplit software. I've never used it before. Just play around with it. Didn't even bother to read the manual. I just want to make sure I'm logging in to my YouTube channel, and so if you guys want to chat, we can do so. Let me see if I can figure out live stream, and here we go. Oops. Okay, yes, I'm muted so I don't have to hear myself. Probably I'll do this every Thursday night, Pacific time, United States. So I think daylight savings is a little bit different. I think GMT -7 for those of you who want to keep track. Thursday night, most likely 10 p.m. Thursday night every week. So let's get this thing started. Tech news. Obviously last week, Monday, was the Apple event. This is one of the worst event, in my opinion, Apple has ever done of the last couple of years. First of all, is they announced the new iPhone SE, the special edition. What do you want to call it? Essentially, is size of an iPhone 5 with the inner workings of the 6 Plus. I want to say. So it weighs 3.99 ounce or 113 grams, 4.87 inches by 2.31 inches. So it's a 4-inch screen. This is an iPhone 6. It's the first iPhone where Apple actually increased the phone size. Now they're going back. But they want to call it the most affordable iPhone ever. It does not have 3D touch. Runs an A9 chip, so the same as the 6S. Camera, I believe, is also similar. Has 12 megapixel. Does have live photo. Does not have 3D touch. Does support panoramic and 4K video recording, and it's smaller. I believe improved battery life, and it comes in silver, gold, space gray, and rose gold. So the color is the same. 16 and 64 gigabyte. Really, it's just I don't know. I think Apple is a loss of a direction here. They're going big, following the footsteps of Google Nexus and Samsung Galaxy, and they're also going small because I don't know, they can't make up their mind, or they want to go lower, try to attract customers that think the bigger, more expensive iPhone is not obtainable. But anyhow, it starts at $399. They call it the most affordable. Now, going the same line, they released a smaller iPad Pro, and that thing is even more ridiculous. It is essentially iPad Air 3, but they don't want to call it Air 3 because they still want to sell the Air 2 at $100 reduced price, and they offered it as we make iPad more affordable. No, you only reduce an almost 2-year-old iPad Air 2 by $100, and now the entry into iPad, in my opinion, has actually gone up by $100. So instead of $499, it's now $599. That is not very good. And the capacity, sort of the base minimum, used to be 16 gigabyte. Now it's 32 and 128 and 256. I just think that that's how Apple's strategy of how to increase their price on a product is start a new line, but it is essentially iPad Air 3 that costs $100 more for the entry model. I do not appreciate that, but my current iPad is an iPad Retina, so iPad 3 if you want to count. So it's fairly old aged, so I did order one. Yeah. So $729. Why is it showing $729? I thought it's $799 or $749. Maybe I'm an educational model or something. Yeah, I'm at education store. Boo. That's why the price is a little off. Yep. So it's $599, $749 for the 128. At least they offer a 256 gigabyte version. I wasn't gonna get it. I was gonna get the Surface Pro 4, which is, in my opinion, a much better computer. The reason I didn't get a Surface Pro 4 is because it was announced last October. It's already been 4 months. I thought they were going to do an annual refresh of announcing Surface Pro 5 this year. But the news from one of the rumor sites is the Microsoft Surface Pro 5 release date has pushed back to the spring of 2017 for the Windows 10 Redstone 2 and Intel Kaby Lake processor. So I think I'm just that's why I ended up ordering the iPad. It is a little cheaper. I'm gonna give it one more go before I completely abandon the iPad camp and just go with Windows Surface Pro 5, which I might do when it comes out, because Surface Pro 4 is almost just right. I was gonna order it. Two issues. One is the pen. It's not as good as the Apple Pencil. The Wacom obviously is the best, but since Microsoft did acquire the company Intrigue a year ago, I believe. And one thing that's very impressed about Microsoft is that they completely turned themselves around. They actually went out of their way, actually listen to the customer feedback and improve their product, versus Apple still so arrogant about listening. I would be more than happy to pay $2,500 or even $3,000 for a Surface Pro like computer running Mac OS. But given how much I like Windows 10 and how terrible Mac OS has been lately, I had to wipe this phone since I bought it. I think I bought it on second week since it was when it was released, 3 times so far. iMessage issue just drive me nuts. So that's the Apple news. That's the Surface Pro 5 news. Virtual reality. Oculus Rift, one of the biggest players in virtual reality, bought by Facebook, which sort of got dumped by Steam. That's unfortunate, but I can see why Steam did that. It started shipping their first retail product. I do have here the DK2. This is not the Crystal Lake, whatever, the one with the audio. So this is just a DK2. It is very interesting. It says development kit 2 right there. It is a very interesting product. Cable is a mess. I think the retail version has a much better cable routing system. It is very interesting. I think I learned more about the software and human, how we perceive motion than I ever realized. That with a good implementation, even when you're sitting here, the good software or game or demo implementation, just sitting here, because I'm afraid of height, this device, even at low resolution, borderline latency, I get that fear when I'm I think one of the Superman demo experience that fly around buildings. I do get the same fear of height as standing, on top building looking down. The Oculus Rift has done a fantastic job. I didn't know that visually our mind could trick us like that, because I know I'm sitting in my chair in this room, and yet I think I just had somebody watching. Oops, that person dropped. If you're watching, just say hi. I don't know how to see the number of users. Sorry. Should I say hi? But it's just amazing. I can't wait to try the retail version. The only thing I think it will be better is more games actually supporting it. It's not just turning the game to support it. They actually have to write the game to optimize. Oh, I think I have another viewer. Hello. Thank you for watching. I'm just talking about weekly tech news, and then I'm gonna go through my unboxing and maybe a little review. If you have something to say, and just type in the chat room. I am actually monitoring it. Hi. Anyways, so this is a fantastic product. I can't wait for more game developers to start optimizing their games for the VR experience, and if they can actually improve the resolution. That's the only thing that distorts the illusion. Is the resolution is just a little bit too low. If we can improve that, that will definitely help. But can't wait for them to start shipping the retail model to the masses. 2 more player comes up. Sony, PlayStation announced their bundle as well. They're also aimed for end of the year release, hopefully before Christmas. And along with that, there's rumored PlayStation 4.5 or PlayStation 5. The refresh is also coming up. PlayStation is about very competitive price-wise, but they do not include the controller, which to me is one of the most interesting part of the PlayStation, because you can actually see your hands while you're in the virtual reality. And the HTC Vive is also coming up. So those 3 are definitely the main, one of the main VR companies in the industry. So next up is Amazon. This is, I think, pulled from The Guardian, is saying Amazon banned users for returning too many items. I don't know if it's true or not, but I know Amazon has banned my affiliate account for no apparent reason, and when I reach out to them and try to ask for a reason, I was not told anything. So it is kind of scary, because as we know that Amazon has replaced a lot of the traditional retail stores, whether it's local or national chain. I mean, Sears, people don't go Sears anymore. I know people still do, but people don't go to Sears anymore. Everybody just order online, Amazon Prime. As they grow bigger, as a consumer, we sort of depended on that retailer. And when they do something like this, you probably think it's nothing. But what if that guy, can only order certain things from Amazon because the local store has closed down because of the online competition? What happens then? What happens if Walmart does that to you, and that's the only online pharmacy? I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know if legally the pharmacy is allowed to do it, but it is very. I don't like Amazon does this. I know retailers don't like people returning stuff, but I don't think. Unless you steal things or use fake money, most retailers don't put your mugshot at their entrance and keep an eye out for you, or can keep you out. But online retailers can. They can, sure, you can create another account, but in the case of my affiliate account, Amazon just refused to give a reason, and they just shut off my account. And since it's tied to my social security number, that's it. That was the end of that. As we move toward to more online identity, if they decide to shut you out, you're done with that. It's almost like an episode of Black Mirror. I think it's their White Christmas, Christmas special. If you guys should watch that. It's very interesting when somebody blocks you digital identity in the future. Of course, it's a science fiction, but you guys should watch that. It's a fantastic BBC show. I'm just reading the line items here on my laptop here. Tesla stopped selling 10 kilowatt hour Powerwall. So Tesla 6 months ago, I think maybe a year ago now, announced they were going to sell Powerwall for in-home power backup for off-the-grid customers. And they have 2 versions. One is the 7.5 kilowatt hour Powerwall that supports sort of daily cycle with a 10-year warranty. Their bigger one, the 10 kilowatt hour version, does not. It is only a 750 cycle backup option. And the reason to discontinue it, people don't want to pay a lot of money for a lithium-ion battery backup. But they still continue selling the 7.5 kilowatt hour. It is actually a very interesting device. It is larger than I thought. I actually seen it in person. The 7.5 kilowatt hour version, it's about the size of a twin-sized mattress. That's how big it is. But it's very thin, just like that. It's maybe about that thin. Very, very heavy. But they're discontinuing the bigger one because you can use the smaller ones in parallel or serial, parallel. Whatever, you can increase capacity that way using the smaller ones. And that one with a 10-year warranty, supports daily cycle. I think it's more what people want for an off-the-grid system, whether using either solar panels during the day and charging that thing and just completely disconnect themselves from the grid. Also bypass a lot of net metering things going on. Alrighty, here let me just show you what I'm reading here. It's not actually super detailed. I'm just going to show you. It's just a I don't know if I can see. It's just a spreadsheet with a list of topics, basically 8 items, the things I want to talk about. Next up is last topic before I start unboxing. Is Intel retires the TikTok model. So I think 10 years ago, Intel started the TikTok model. So every tick is a new microarchitecture, and TOC is reduced in transistor size, or maybe I have to reverse. Essentially, every cycle they will do either introduce a new microarchitecture, and then the next cycle they will reduce the transistor size. As we know, I think they're approaching 14 nanometers or even 12. I don't know what the new count is right now, but I think that's becoming harder and harder to do. So they are doing a different model. They're doing TikTok and a optimization. So basically extends that aggressiveness. I mean, they're not competing with anybody, at least in the consumer market. I think the upcoming product will be more toward the mobile market against the A9 processors. Certainly in the computing market, the consumer computing market, there's no competition at all. And then there's also a sort of weird trend as an increase in network performance. A lot of the computing power has shifted to the cloud or the server. The cloud, I guess, is the new buzzword. So that the devices we use either in our pocket or home become dumber, but our overall consumer experience is better because we shift a lot of that compute requirement to the servers because our internet's fast enough. So that's an interesting trend. So that doesn't mean that there's no demand in the consumer market anymore. It's just less. I mean, my last computer lasted probably 5 years before I upgraded. The computer before only lasts 2 years. I usually build a new desktop every 2-3 years, but the last one lasts 5, only because I was tired of it. I want a new case, might as well get a new motherboard. It's not because the i7-920 processor was any slower. It does everything I needed to do, but I just want a smaller form factor, quieter, water cooling. I just find it better to have a new socket. But other than that, it's still good. I mean, it's still in the closet. I can still, dust that thing off and run the latest game. That's given that you have the fitting graphic card. The processor is certainly more than powerful enough for the next 2-3 years, and I have never had a single processor burn out on me. Processor, consumer computing processor is not in high demand. On the mobile market, however, oh yeah, I mean, the battery life, we always want a high demand battery life. And graphic cards, absolutely, right? The AMD and NVIDIA is still competing over the next generation. I think it's Kepler or whatever. I don't remember it anymore. Anyways, and also these augmented reality, these requires tremendous amount of graphic performance power. And look at it. I mean, the amount of cabling on this is insane. Also the augmented reality, right? So if they can make this device fit on our head, and then all the powering and computing requirement fit inside this thing, it'll be fantastic. I mean, I can see that's the next trend that Intel is going after. And back up to the Apple event that was disappointing. This is actually the first Apple device that I've purchased that buyer's remorse. I think I have no buyer's remorse from any previous Apple product, but the Apple Watch is the first Apple product with buyer's remorse. This is the 42 millimeter stainless steel model with sapphire glass. I mean, for with the leather all in, I think it's $800 some. Yeah, whatever. All right, so that's about all the tech news I have. Basically, I would just tell you guys the tech news I find interesting and give my personal opinion on it. It's 100% my opinion. So don't say whatever. It's my opinion. So I understand it's my opinion. So basically, technology news, science. I don't think I will do health, but technology and science. All right, let's go proceed with unboxing. So I got a couple things. First, I got the memory card. So I keep my eyes out on good deals, and then I always want to check this out. So bright. Hold on, I want to make sure. Sorry, the camera. This is a SanDisk 128 gigabyte Extreme SDXC UHS-I card. So this thing supports up to 90 megabyte per second, 600x speed. I'm pretty sure that's a sequential read, not the write. But still, 128 gigabyte. This thing cost $40 when it was. Can't even get this thing open, but it's just a standard SD card. So I'm just gonna use this in my Canon. But anyway, this is. Let's see what else I have. Oh, I got this also on sale. Let me see if I can figure out the lighting situation. Sorry, guys. Okay, now I cannot see. I don't know why this. I think the screen is taking up too much. Here we go. The white box is the Logitech Harmony Home Control Remote. One of the things I bought over the Christmas was a Samsung SmartThings V2, and I'm very interested in this home automation thing. To tier up my IP cam with Philips Hues, which I have not purchased yet because it just seems really expensive at the moment. But I want to do that. So with Samsung SmartThings V2 Hub, it allows you to connect to all these things. Let me show you. So once you open inside, it's the Logitech Harmony Remote. Let's see, my eyes is shot. I'm blind as a bat. You have a little sort of control module, and in it you have a pair repeat, a micro USB, and 2 I think is the IR port connector right there. Let's see what else is over there. And you have where the light comes from, probably from the monitor. To get away. This is fail. I'll figure out a better lighting solution. But it has a white monitor, a white remote, and a USB to micro USB cable. And a power adapter that goes to micro USB and infrared blaster. That's it. So what it allows you to do is, I believe this one supports Bluetooth, so I can use this control my PlayStation 4, and this was on sale. I think normally it's like $159. This was one of the things from crazy Best Buy online that's $89. So I need to get this thing set up. The thing about Logitech is that I think they're the only one that actually making consumer-friendly multimedia remote, and as we get more and more devices, this is my 5th Logitech remote. Not the most expensive. The most expensive is Logitech One, the touchscreen, crazy touchscreen ones. And this one just recently failed. This is a Logitech Harmony 880. One of the problems I have with the Logitech is that their software, it's so weird. The older remote doesn't work with the current software, so they obsolete. The planned obsolescence, whatever. So they essentially outdate your remote by forcing you to download the new software. So this one, the remote works perfectly fine, and it has replaceable battery. I have to pop it out because didn't want it to beep. The beep to force you to charge. It's the volume rocker. If you actually look online, there's reported case with that. It's a design flaw where that doesn't work. But while I had it for 3 years, it did what it's supposed to do. It's kind of crazy to think a few years ago to spend, $50 or $100 on a remote control. But given our increase in number of TVs we have in the room, the number of entertainment center, receivers, game consoles, it's actually not. This thing just so damn white. Not weird to spend that much on a multimedia control or smart control, remote control. And of course, this thing has a non-replaceable battery. Thank you, Apple. Apple started a trend with non-replaceable battery. I hate it. What else I got here? Oh, so speaking of home automation, hope this one shows up better. Also, this glare. This is the Ecobee 3. It's a second generation smart thermostat. I was debating between this and the Nest. The problem with the heater at my house is that it's very inconsistent. Certain part of the room can be middle of the Sahara Desert, the 110 degrees, and certain room can be freezing cold, like 60. So what this thing allows you to do, it comes with 2 or 3. God, it's so white. 2 or 3 the temperature sensor right here, where it can actually tell you the different temperature in the room, and you can actually use certain room to drive the temperature. So let's see what's inside. And this works with Samsung SmartThings V2. SmartThings was originally a Kickstarter project to be a home automation hub, and Samsung bought it. Initially, people were feared that Samsung will kill it or done horrible things to them, like any major consumer company would do. But it turns out Samsung hasn't screwed up yet. They actually move a lot of things compared to the first generation, is to actually move away from the cloud and actually do a lot of local processing. And that's one of the things people complain about the HomeThings V1 is actually have to go, you require a constant internet connection. They actually have to go to their server and coming back to you to do anything. So the latency was horrible. The V2, however, actually they move back a lot of that processing, the trigger, the logic to your device. So internet is not required. It's just nice to have. And this is the thermostat, and of course the sensor is a little white thing, and with the glare I will fix the light situation. And it has sort of the mounting, oh god, why is everything all white today? It has there's a little mounting cable. Hopefully I won't burn down the house setting this up. You have a little plastic mounting bracket, and you have a bunch of screws. And then you have the actual device on the wall. And of course, supports Siri, so you can turn off the thermostat without getting out of bed. And you can set it up so that when SmartThings detect you're coming home or you're leaving work, and depends on the current weather condition, it will turn on the thermostat for you. And when you go to bed, you can turn it off with Siri or with iPad without getting off the bed, or you can set it automatically. So this will be very interesting. So it makes it an intelligent decision about what temperature to set your home at based on the weather and room temperature and yada yada yada. So the only thing I'm worried about is I'm not very handy. So hopefully I don't have to patch any drywall or anything. I have another thing. So the other one was a memory order from Autorama. It's the full-size SD card. And I also got this. My friend sent it to me. God, why is everything so... Okay. So this is a 200 gigabyte SanDisk, again, Ultra Micro SD with a SD card adapter. So this one was a little more expensive, it's $60. Also up to 90 megabyte per second, 600x. So this is good for GoPro. GoPro didn't have any news last week, but they've been having performance issues with their stock and market saturation and their product. They had to kill their GoPro Session, but that was 2 months ago. My problem with GoPro is that the battery life is not really good. So 200 gigabyte, if I record in 4K, the battery will burn out before it gets anywhere close to 200 gigabyte. And even at HD, the battery burns out after 2 hours, which again, seems to be overkill. But no problem, comes with a full-size SD adapter. I can just pop that in my camera. So I think that's 300 gigabyte in the palm of your hand. Wow, that's crazy. Let's see what I have here. Let's see. I don't know. I know what these two boxes are. I just don't know which is which. Okay, I think I know what this one is. Oh, I didn't know. Beef jerky. So I think I waste a lot of money buying stuff just because they're on sale. This is an Amazon jerky box. Basically $10. They send you some beef jerky and they give you $10 credit. So you can spend on future jerky product. I got the credit, so that credit expires end of this year, but I got a bunch of jerkies. Let's see what they have. The reason I have jerkies is that if you watch my other videos, you know I'm a type 1 diabetic. The problem with that is I need to do constant insulin injection. And the problem with that is insulin has a 4-hour potency period or lifespan. Depends on what brand. Like the one I'm using right now have 3 hours. So basically you do an insulin, that insulin stays in your system, lower your blood sugar for the next 3 hours. So I like to keep my sugar level at a very good number before I go to bed, so that because I have my basal, the background ones all dialed in. So if I go to bed at a good level, basically guarantee my blood sugar for the next 8 hours, given that I sleep for 8 hours. So that limits the number of snacks I can eat. Basically, beef jerky, not all of them, some of them, it's fantastic because low carb, basically no carbohydrates, no sugars, they're just protein. If I eat one of these, well, I have to look at the nutrition facts. If they have almost no carb or very little carb, I can safely eat these without doing any insulin injection. So I'm very interested in eating a lot of beef jerky. So let's see what they give us for $10. Actually $0 because I got my $10 back. Well, $10 worth of credit that I have to spend on other jerky product before it expires. So this is, let's see, high in protein, chef's cut, real steak jerky, original recipe. It's right here. This is a 2.5 ounce bag. This thing has so 2.5 servings per container. So an ounce per serving, has 6 grams of carb. So this is about average. So for every 28 grams, you have 6 grams of carbohydrate. Basically, I cannot eat this at night or after dinner because 6 grams is enough. I need to do insulin. But let's see what else. You also get a 0.5 ounce beef perky jerky. Tasty teriyaki. This one, based on serving size of 1 ounce, you have 10 grams of carb, I believe. God, why did they make it so small? So this thing has more carbohydrates than chef's cut. So daytime, maybe. And I never had both of these, which I thought was a good time to try out some of the beef jerky. This is a Ballpark Flame Grill barbecue pork jerky, 2.85 ounce. It's about 3 servings per container, and this is 6 grams of carb per serving. chili lime beef jerky, another Crave ones. This one's is 18 gram. So a serving of this has the same carb as 3 servings of this. So as you can see, not all jerky are created equal. Some people prefer sweet tasting ones. I prefer savory ones. So leaving that one out. Oh, I had this before, but not Golden Island Kung Pao beef jerky. So I've seen this brand at Costco. They had pork jerky that's also very sweet. This is a Kung Pao flavored beef jerky. 9 grams of carb per serving. Okay, let's see. Now these sticks. Fast Fuel. God, these are too small to read. I don't know what the hell's in there, but okay. Another Fast Fuel. What the hell's the difference? Oh, my eyesight's shot. Look, one is blue, one's beef, one is turkey, honey, brown sugar. So the blue one is beef, turkey, honey, brown sugar. Probably this one has more carb, but sometimes you can't tell. Another bison. Hello. So this is a little bacon cranberry bar. 11 grams of protein, gluten-free, 100% bison. So they post gluten-free, and yet there's no nutrition. Oh, here, back here. Total carb, 10 gram. So this is very sweet. I guess the new trend, I mean, apologize to people. I mean, I feel sorry people with celiac disease, but new trend is gluten-free, not carb anymore. I think 10, 15 years ago, carb was Atkins diet, carb was all things. I have no problem eating gluten, but I do have a problem eating carbs, so these two are out. So all in all, I think for $10 or 0, if you count the credit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bags of beef jerky. It's not bad. I'm definitely gonna try those out. I have one more box. So that is very interesting. I hope once I get into a normal schedule, you guys will watch more, and then if you guys can also feel free to chat. It says one person is watching, so no one is chatting. Okay, so I think this is pen stuff. Okay. Whoops. Alright, so what I have here. God, why is everything all in white boxes? I guess I never noticed them before. Head magnifier. So this is, I'll show you why I bought this in a second. So it's a hands-free magnifier or loop, whatever you call it. There's, I think, 10x is the maximum, and it has a built-in LED light. You can switch. Smells totally horrible. And you have adjustable head strap. The reason I bought this is one of my favorite pen from one of the earlier unboxing videos is the Pilot Falcon. So what happened with this pen is that it writes okay. Certain directions, I think it's from the lower left corner going up has a certain scratchiness, and then which bothers me little, not that bad. The flow issue is what drives me crazy, and sometimes just no ink flow at all. And reading people online, they say you have to make sure the tines are aligned. I hope I say that correctly. It's the two split apart, the metallic parts, make sure they're aligned perfectly, not crooked or anything. And just from watching me, my vision is crap. So with this, I should be able to check the pen, make sure they're aligned properly. If not, align them. So I got that. I can check all my pens and make sure the bottom part is all smooth. And if not, maybe I'll find something to treat it. This is a 14K gold nib, and it's a flexible nib. So another thing about this one's completely crushed, is they say the original converter came with the pen. Converter is the ink holding part, so it's friction fit. So it's this thing that basically like a screw plunger thing that has the ink stored in. They say there's a problem. There's bubble that like to form near the tip of it, which prevents the ink from getting drawn in. What people online has suggested is to get a different converter. Pilot makes them. Amazon shipped them completely crushed. Why is everything so white? Anyways, this thing's completely crushed, but I hope the item is okay. Okay, can't get it open. I'm just gonna slice. So, check out the box. Nice job, Amazon. This is a Pilot Con 20. That's the model. Con 20 converter. As you can see, it is a different design. It's a plastic bladder with a metal housing on the outside, and it's a squeeze converter. This one supposedly have a slightly larger capacity and doesn't have the issue with the original converter that came with the Falcon. So one thing I realized I really like the fountain pen. Two things. One is, first I thought it's the gold nib because I like how soft it is to write, but turns out I was wrong. The material of the nib has nothing to do with the characteristic of the nib. So the flex nib, the flexibility of it, has nothing to do with the material. The smoothness of it has nothing to do with material. For example, the Noodler Ahab flex pen is a flex pen, full flex pen, not just a soft flex like this. It's a steel nib, yet it's more flexible than this. I think is I think it's Omas. No, Omas is a gold nibs. Visconti? No. Anyways, Aurora? Anyways, one of the pen companies has a steel nib that's smoother than most, if not all, the gold nibs out there. So the material of the nib is irrelevant. So I find out I like pens with a resin body. So that's another word for natural plastic. It's a plant-based plastic versus a petroleum-based, which we call plastic. But resin is also a polymer. I had to Wikipedia that. So I like the natural resin or natural plastic because they're softer. And I like soft nibs. That's one of the things you can choose by using the fountain pen, which you cannot choose so much when you buy a ballpoint pen. So one of the good resource on the site, the person also has a fantastic YouTube channel. It's Goulet Pens, or Ink Nouveau. I think he just have his pen company now, Goulet Pens. I bought a couple Lamy pen from them, and also the TWSBI 580 aluminum here. Maybe I'll do a quick review on this one. And he has his website, gouletpens.com, actually compared the pen thickness so that you can just pull up a manufacturer, and then because it's non-standardized. So the European fountain pens, actually different manufacturer, different brand of fountain pens have a different idea of medium, broad, fine, extra fine than other manufacturers. So there's no way to know the medium from Pelican is the same medium as a Pilot, which is not, because the Asian pens are usually thinner than the Europeans. So a medium Falcon here, or Pilot, is a fine Pelican. But besides the point, that the reason he's so awesome is that on his website you can punch in a manufacturer and the nib size, and he will provide a writing sample, and you can put those side to side to compare. And all his writing sample are written with Noodler's Black, which I ordered here. I just opened it. This is a 3-ounce bottle. It's plastic. Ink, again, runs differently. Certain brands are wetter or more viscous than the other brands. So all his writing sample were written using Mueller's Black on Rhodia 80-gram paper, which I already have. So now, with these two together and some of the pens that he already tested, I would be able to tell if the new pen that I don't have yet that I want to collect will get me that. Hope that makes sense. So I got the same ink he used and the same paper he used and the pen that he used, so that I'd be able to say, okay, I really like the median from the Lamy All-Star. Therefore, the Pelikan Fine, which about roughly the same thickness, would be something I want off the Pelikan line. And those pens can run anywhere from $100, $200 up to $1,000. Not going to the $1,000 version for sure, right off the bat. So that's all the unboxing I have for this week. Maybe I'll do beef jerky taste test next week. If I can do it earlier in the day, like I said. The carbs are all relatively high. So let's just do a quick review of the fountain pens. If you guys have any questions, you guys can type in the messaging. I'll do my best to answer them here. So this is a TWSBI Diamond 580 aluminum. So this is made by a Taiwan company. So this is a piston fill pen. Piston means this thing twists and causes the piston to go up and down and draw ink into the body. It's a plastic body, and the reason it's aluminum is the way you hold the pen. This part is metallic, and it has this is a fine nib. I'm probably gonna end up selling this one, but the holding part. This is before I realized I do not like metallic pens. They're just too slippery for my taste. They're also hard, and the fine nib is too much. So other than that, this pen has pretty good ink capacity. Definitely way better than the Falcon. I'm gonna throw away the tube here. Fine is really fine. That's why after I try this out, again, this fine has similar definition to the fine of the Falcon, but I didn't have any Falcon. I had a Lamy. I thought they are the same before I learned no, Lamy, being a German brand, runs a tad thicker. So the Lamy, this is a 1.1 millimeter stub nib. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's very runs a little bit broader. So I thought the fine here matches the fine here. Nope. So fine, too fine, which is good for writing on everyday paper. But if you want to use a fountain pen paper like Clairefontaine or Rhodia, it's too fine. So this one I'm probably going to eBay back. It's only $30. And I went, since I discovered that, I went with a bigger TWSBI. This is a VAC 700. I have an unboxing video for this. This is a significantly bigger. And the reason it's VAC is, I don't know if you can tell, the black bottom is the VAC 700, and the clear bottom is the 580. As you can see, the nib is significantly bigger on the VAC 700. It's VAC, it's a vacuum fill. So you basically unscrew this part and you pull the plunger all the way out, and then the vacuum action of the pen will fill the entire barrel with ink. Believe it or not, the vacuum part is actually older mechanism, and a lot of modern pens don't use them anymore for a good reason. I did not know this. So this is a medium-sized nib, which I love, by the way, and it's very smooth. And this is a resin body where you hold it, and a plastic clear demonstrator body barrel. And it's, I think the grip section is about 10 millimeter. I wish a little bit thicker, but this is the thickest of all the pens I have, which I know, another thing I learned is I like thick barrel. The vacuum. So I don't know if you can see, there's a top has a vacuum part. So when you close it, to prevent ink from spilling, there's actually an O-ring that seals the ink from it. So, but before you write, or you write a lot, so when you travel like this, you store like this. And before you write for a long session, or I just like to practice writing doodle, or not doodle, just writing things, you have to untwist it and pull the plunger back. And then you can proceed writing. I have to flush out a wasted entire barrel of ink because I thought there's feeding issue with this pen. Turns out, no. I forgot to read instruction. I guess I should learn my mistakes. I didn't even read instruction on how to use the software. They say to twist this open, and then so that you basically allow the ink to flow into the feed, then start writing it. That's the vacuum pen. That's why I guess most companies don't use them. The Pilot Custom 823 is still a vacuum pen. That's very similar design. The TWSBI VAC 700 is a vacuum pen. The Parker 51 is a vacuum pen. That's like 50 years old. But the new pens are all piston driven. So I learned that two things I can do is don't buy a vac pen. That's one thing. Another thing is you can remove the front O-ring by disassemble this pen. Thank you, Goulet pens. I have not done that yet because you don't want to lose it, and I'm not very handy. But I'm going to do it just to give it a try because this is only a $70 pen, so it's not that expensive. If I do make a mistake, I do like the nib. I like the size of the nib. It can be bigger because I still tend to. Let me close it. I don't want to drop it. You can. I do tend to hold fairly high with this pen, so that's where I hold it. And as you can see, if I get a bigger pen, I'll be okay. So, absolutely love the size, the overall dimension of this pen. I wish the barrel is a little bit thicker. This is 10 millimeter. I wish it's like 11 or 12. Weight does not bother me. Length doesn't bother me. And another thing I didn't learn is the posting, which is the term for putting the cap to the back of the pen. This one, the vacuum one, as you can see, once it's posted, you can twist the cap and it does not interfere with the drawing mechanism. On the 580, specifically, not all piston pen does this. You posting onto the twisting part, the part you draw the ink. So if you jam this in and you start twisting this, you're gonna get ink squirted. Well, it's not too full, so I'm not worried about it, but you can run into problems. So other piston fill pen will not make sure it doesn't have this issue, but you know, that's the thing I learned. I love the piston filling mechanism. Just when you're posting, the cap should not engage in the knob, the filling mechanism. I do not like the vacuum, but because it's just problematic. Definitely no more metal barrel. So, and these things actually change value fairly well. I mean, I can eBay that with only losing a couple dollars, maybe just shipping. Other than that, I think this is it. This is my first live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments, questions, or any feedbacks or how I should use the XSplit software, please let me know. And if any other news, you guys have any questions, I will do my research and I will try to answer. But that is it. I have, just watch my channels. You know, I have a lot of interest in all things gadget technology related. Oh, the setup. So the camera is a Logitech C920 webcam. It's a 1080p version. But because the XSplit software I use is the free one, I cannot use the 1080p streaming. I think I have enough bandwidth to do that. And then the microphone is a Yeti, it's a blue Yeti blackout edition on a Rodeo PA1 mount, and then one of those blue shock absorbent things. So that's the setup. This is the first time using it actually. So I hope you guys enjoy this live stream. I'll try to do this on a weekly basis. Thursday night, Pacific time, 10 p.m. Pacific time is when I will do the live streaming. I hope you guys can, tune in, and I hope you guys can, participate in the chatting session and let me know how I can do to improve this. And hopefully I will have more tech news, gadget review, unboxing type of thing going on. All right, I'll see you Thursday. Thank you for watching. How do I turn this thing off?